Success in life will depend more on how you behave and less on what you know.
We all think that we have an open mind, and that's probably something each one of us feels about ourselves. What is it to actually have an open mind?
Having an open mind, you should be able to therefore unlearn things and relearn things. That's very important. We normally look at people's weaknesses, but my philosophy is totally different. How can we see people's strengths and everybody's strength? The person who sweeps the floor has certain strengths. The CEO at the top has certain strength. So look at the strengths and then try to leverage the strength in an appropriate manner.
People are moving just towards money. They want to get the results, do not want to follow the process.
I think life is much more than money. Life is about happiness. Life is about relationship. Life is about feeling nice about things. We need to start thinking of things other than money, because that is going to be great harm to the society, because at the end of the day we are part of the society.
Hi friends, welcome to Money Matters. I'm Utkarsh Bhadoria and I'm bringing this very special production to you today. And we have some very special guest, Mr. Ravi Kant, who is ex-managing director of the Tata Motors. And I want to welcome you, sir, today. Thank you so much for giving me your time. And it means so much, to actually have you on the show talking about leadership. Today, the Money Matters production is going to take money from a very, very different perspective. Money is always, I believed, supposed to be an end result. And now we are going to understand what it takes to get this money. What are the leadership lessons we can understand from you and take away from you? We would like to understand each and one of those aspects which can take us towards money. To earn money, what is required? What are the qualities which are required? What should we imbibe? And yes, the driver nowadays has been money. But what is your perspective, sir? How should people take this forward?
I think you have raised an important subject. In fact, that's something which is very, very wrong with current times.
Yes.
And with the current way of leadership, especially in the 21st century. Because corporates, have been there for over 200 years. After an industrial revolution, then only corporates came into being. And started first in Europe and UK, and later on, last 100 years, the USA. But what has happened is it's acquired somewhat different proportions. So one of the things which is, I think, increasingly getting wrong is single-minded focus on money. Everybody wants to only look at the valuation of the company, and therefore, as if beyond that nothing matters. Or that the corporation has done this in isolation, as if it has not had any support from the society, it's not support from anybody else, as if the corporates exist in isolation. And money is the only thing that matters. And I think that's not so good. Same with individuals. What we are looking for now is, how can I become a millionaire? How can I become a billionaire? And now, of course, how can I become a trillionaire? Money is important, let's understand, in life. But if you have only single-minded focus on money, to the exclusion of everything else, then we are creating a huge problem in society. Because then what happens is, you are increasing inequality. And I feel we have reached a stage where that increase in inequality is unsustainable. I think the pendulum has swung to the other side and it needs correction. And this is something which we are at that crucial stage in corporate history, that we need to start thinking of things other than money, because that is going to be great harm to the society. Because at the end of the day, we are part of the society. We cannot do things for ourselves and make the society suffer, because society will react. At some point in the third time, it will react. Because nature, as you know, nature is always wanting to find a balance. So if you disbalance a thing on one side, nature will find its way to start balancing. And I feel that many things that are happening in the world around us, they are on account of this huge amount of inequality, a huge divide between haves and have-nots, and you cannot just do it. I mean, coming from a corporate world, having seen in many organizations, have been in high positions, I can very well understand that corporates have gone too far. We need to balance.
I was thinking, why is it actually happening? Because somewhere deep down, I think I've been studying some religious aspects as well, spiritual aspects as well, what they talk about. Like, in fact, I was just going through the Torah, which is the Jewish goal setting orientation. It also talks about that money is important, but how you earn money is extremely important. Why do you think, in spite of all the aspects being drawn upon, that we already know that money is the byproduct, people are moving just towards money? They want to get the results, do not want to follow the process. They want to do it at any cost, even not respecting sustainability, environment, or values. What happens when you approach money without the value orientation?
So, as you rightly put, if you put money as the sole thing, then I think it's causing problem, because you cannot assume that money is everything, and money has been can be achieved by any means, or money can be earned through any means, or that I will earn money to the exclusion of everything, to the exclusion of relationships in the organization, to relationship in the industry, or to the exclusion of relationship in the society, or with the relationship with the nature. So I think there is a huge amount of thing which has gone wrong, and it needs to be corrected. As I've said, money is important. Let's not confuse. Money is important, but money cannot be the sole criteria which should motivate people to. I think life is much more than money. Life is about happiness. Life is about relationship. Life is about feeling nice about things. Life is about achieving certain missions in your life, certain things you want to do. You want to feel good about it. So life is far more holistic, far more important than to be straight-jacketed into one thing called money.
Absolutely, sir. So, first of all, congratulations for the book as well, Leading from the Back. It's a wonderful book. I have personally felt that this is useful to all the youngsters who are trying to right now build organizations, build startups, communities. To be very frank with you, I have personally implemented this model in my own community while I'm building a second level of leadership. What I'm noticing is that it's inspiring people to a level that they are probably okay to work for free. They are okay to work for the mission. They are okay to feel as if this is my company. That's the magic I think your book is all about. So congratulations to you for that. And I would just like you to give us a little bit of perspective on what led you to this book. What was happening? What was going through your mind? Were you always thinking of writing a book?
No, in fact, it's the other way around. I never wanted to write a book. In fact, in the last 5-6 decades of my career, many people have invited me, induced me, dictated to me that I should write books, because of various companies I've been in, whether it's Hawkins or Titan Watches or LML Vespa, Tata Motors, Kinetic Engineering, all that, Philips. But I was always reluctant, because I felt that it would give a one-sided view of things, which is not correct, and therefore I didn't want to be part of that. Till about 4 years ago, a friend of mine said, "But surely you would have learned a lot in life from others." I said, "Yes." So I think whatever you are learning is, it would be your responsibility. It should be your responsibility to share. That's what set me thinking. So okay, let me see what I have learned. That is one thing. Then I asked another friend of mine from advertising world, "So how would you describe my way of working?" And he said, "Ravi, you lead from the back." And then it just struck me, because I heard that statement for the first time, leading from the back, because all of us, we've been conditioned to think that leading means leading from the front. And he's saying that I've been leading from the back, and he had known me for 20 years. So I said, okay.
Oh, so before this, it did not come to your mind that
No,
this
no,
could be the
no,
title.
no.
Yeah.
There is somebody else's, and that's how life is. So somebody else has to tell you what you are doing. And so I said, okay, because he's from advertising world, he has given me a headline. Now let me understand what is this headline based on. So I started deconstructing my own life with the previous 5 decades, which companies I've worked and all that. But more than which companies, what did I do? Because I worked in 7 companies. And each company was in a different industry of which I had no knowledge of. And therefore, I go into those industries, companies, and something happens. Maybe fortunate, luck, whatever you want to call it, but something happens. So then I started thinking as to what is it? Because people in the company are far more knowledgeable, far more experienced, far more technically competent than I. So, what was my contribution? And that set me thinking, what was my contribution? And then we started looking deeply into it, in a kind of contemplative, meditative mode, and they call when you were
Absolutely.
in flow of things. Then I started discovering that these are the things perhaps you did. And so, what were those things? So, I just put them down in a very simple manner. There are 3 things.
Okay.
One is, how should I be? Second is, how should I build a team? And third is, how do I tackle the task?
I love that. I love how simply in those 3 things you've tried to define how
Yeah. Yeah.
you can manage better.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are, life is simple, don't make it complicated. As it is, this world is very complicated. So in each of these things, there are 3 simple things. What are they? How should I be? Have an open mind. Take ownership. And be detached. Now, these are very fundamental. They look very easy, but they are not easy to follow. Because let's take open mind. I mean, if you are very successful, the more successful you are, more close-minded you become. The more senior you become, more close-minded you become. Everybody thinks he or she is very open-minded till you ask their peer group or their people reporting to them. Then you will get the truth. So, and in today's time of uncertainty, unpredictability, and all that we are facing in the world today, having an open mind is absolutely essential. It is of paramount importance that if you don't have open mind, you'll miss out. You'll certainly miss out things. So that's one. Number 2 is take ownership. Whatever job you are doing, you should not look at it as a job, but you should look at it as if you are the owner. You may not be a financial owner, but if you put yourself as if I'm the owner, you bring a very different perspective to everything.
Right.
Very, very different perspective. And third is, while you assume you are the owner, you should be detached. Detached means what? You are not doing it to become a millionaire. You are not doing it to get second promotion. You are not going to do this. You are doing it because you need to do it, period. And therefore, if you are detached from a thing, then you have a greater equanimity. You have greater balance of perspective. And you are able to think in a different kind of perspective. And that is very important in life. Because otherwise you get emotionally attached and then things go up, you go with that, and things go down because you don't control life. Things will go up and things will go down. And along with that, your emotions go up and go down. So I think it is important that we kind of distance ourselves from that and see things in that perspective. I can only say if you do that, you will be much happier than otherwise.
Absolutely. No, I think I really am intrigued, but I really want to go deep down into this, for the sake of the audience today. And let's go deep in each of these points. I think each of these points are simple, but so profound. If we go deep into this, I think a lot of management lessons can be rolled up in this 30-40 minutes which we're going to have together. So on that first point, sir, the open mind, what exactly do we mean by this? And while you rightly said, we all think that we have an open mind, and that's probably something each one of us feels about ourselves. But what is it to actually have an open mind?
Having an open mind is you should be kind of be available to absorb things, observe things, listen to people.
Okay.
Rather than just keep speaking yourself, listen to people, what people have to say, what are the new things which are happening. You should be able to, by having an open mind, you should be able to therefore unlearn things and relearn things. That's very important. Because we are living in an era where things are changing too fast. The uncertainty, unpredictability, disruptions are too much. They have already been in the world, but the intensity of this has gone like this. And in this kind of thing, you may have heard of black swan events. You may not have heard of grey rhino event. Grey rhino is something which you know it is coming, but you are unable to do anything about it. You are not wanting to do anything about it.
Okay.
So nowadays, what we are having, especially in last 25 years, is there is a surfeit of grey rhino and black swan events happening almost simultaneously, one after another. It doesn't give you any time to adjust. And therefore, while you are trying to adjust to this, something else happens, which in this kind of uncertainty, if you don't have an open mind, if you are not able to adjust to it, then you will lose out. Not only lose out, I would say career-wise or financial, but I think you lose out as in relationship-wise. There will be problems, you will be unhappy, because these things will cause a lot of stress. Things will not be as they are. They are not predictable. There's unpredictability in the system. And therefore, these are coming as surprises, as shocks. You may lose your job. You may lose, you may be wiped out. Your entire kind of organizations, one structure can just get out, move out. So because you will not have any control over it.
Right.
And therefore, if you are able to anticipate things in a better fashion, then it will be your staying power, your age becomes much bigger. So I'll give an example. We had gone to South Korea we were one of the bidders for Daewoo Truck Company in South Korea.
Okay.
They don't speak English, they speak only Korean. So I was standing by mid-level manager, English-speaking mid-level manager. And I thought as we are doing due diligence to find out what's good about the company, what's bad about or wrong about the company, we felt, look, if we are successful, then definitely we must know what do these people think about us. It's normally you don't do it, because when you go to acquire a thing, you don't bother about the acquiree. You want to dominate, you go with the mindset of domination. That's how people have been doing. So I said, no, that's not correct. Because ultimately they'll be running the company. And therefore we must find out what do they think. And I asked him, so if you were given a choice, who would you go with? So this person hesitated for a minute. He didn't know whether he should answer, not answer, what answer. I said, totally be honest and transparent and let me know. So he thought for a while. He said, sir, we would like to go with a European company. So I asked him why. So he said, look, our career will be protected because we'll get technology from there. Now, this is open mind in the sense, if we had not had the open mind, we would not even ask the question. Because we with the closed mind say, well, I'm going to acquire him. I'm going with the mindset of acquirer. And therefore, that would have not been right. Second is, when he gave that response, I said his response is correct. Because if I was in his place, I would feel the same way. That 1 minute conversation changed our whole strategy in Korea. And we started doing something very differently. We told them who we are in a way. We converted everything into South Korean. We started talking about what Tata Motors is all about. We started doing things, talking to people that we were able to build trust, make them more comfortable. And can you imagine after 6-7 weeks when the team was coming back from South Korea, those very same people got very emotional. And they said if the company is to go to anybody, it must go to Tata's.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to say is that because you had open mind, you wanted to seek somebody else's opinion who was going to be impacted by that. And what is said, also because of open-mindedness, you felt that what he's saying is correct. If we were not open-minded, we would have felt that, oh, this fellow doesn't know me. I'm I'm Tata's, I'm Tata Motors. You understand that kind of arrogance. But if you say no, we must. So being open-minded and then trying to do correct things with that, it made a 180-degree change. It's nothing to do about money, it's nothing to do about technology, it's to do with how we behave with people, how we trust people, how we generate trust with people. And that trust gives, whether you are in South Korea or England or the US or India, human beings are same. They want to be trusted, they want to feel comfortable. And we felt that we must give them this because we are Tatas. We are not a US company, we are Tatas. And therefore, we must give them this. So we created a first template there. And that template is what we should be seen as a South Korean company in South Korea, not as an Indian company in South Korea. That fundamentally changed the whole view of how acquisition should be done. And we followed the same template when we went to the UK for acquisition of Jaguar Land Rover, I can tell you. And both have, I think, worked quite well.
I was just wondering, these behavioral issues which we see, like people not being respectful with each other, people not willing to listen, people thinking that they know everything. Where's this coming from? Is it coming from our education system as well, where the way we have been groomed, the way we've been taught to do things? Where is this actually originating from?
Well, I think partly is a human, this thing, each human being wants to see himself or herself as a very distinct person, and therefore, and we are very quick to look at faults and look at weaknesses and things like that. And the worldview in last, as I said, 100 to 100 years has become, is that it is for me, I, and money, and this thing and that thing, power. So all these things, so everybody wants to go in that direction. And I think, therefore, you try to achieve power by withholding facts, you try to achieve power by creating a coterie of your own so-called trusted people. And that is creating a lot of problem in the organizations and today's.
But do you think, sir, these things could be actually inculcated in our education system as well? These तो पहले जो आप बड़ी बड़ी चीज़ें सिखा रहे हो, साइन कॉस थीटा सिखा रहे हो, ये सिखा रहे हो, वो सिखा रहे हो, उससे पहले हम बिहेवियर सिखाएं?
I think you have...
Because we've never actually, I've done my schooling, nobody has ever told me in school or anyone, listen.
You are right. Because success in life will depend more on how you behave and less on what you know.
Absolutely.
I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying this from experience. It will depend a lot more on how you deal with people rather than what you know.
Right.
Knowledge is important, but more important to be successful, more important is this. So it brings me to the second part of the book.
Absolutely.
How to build powerful teams. And so there are three parts to it. One is build trust, collaborate, and leverage strengths. These are three things.
Beautiful.
Now, trust is if you ask me, the central point is all about trust. And trust, I call, is consistent integrity. Integrity means what? You need to be honest, you need to be transparent, you need to be equitable, you need to be fair, you need to be authentic, and not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days. Day in and day out, consistently. You can't say, I'll show integrity for 364 days in a year, and one day I'll take holiday from that, and I will not do that. That's not on. So if you do that, 365 days integrity, then what happens is you become predictable. That means anybody who's coming with a problem knows what the answer is going to be. And even though the decision may go against that person may feel a little bad about it, but they say, no, if another person had come with the same problem, he or she would have got the same answer.
Sir, but ये practically कैसे किया जाए?
That is fantastic. See, once you begin to see that means you become predictable.
Okay.
If you become predictable and you start doing that, then over a period of time, people will feel more comfortable. And that's what brings psychological safety. Means then you become emboldened to open out, you become emboldened to ask questions, you become emboldened to say, no, what is being done is wrong. Otherwise, people will just clam up. Normally, people clam up. They don't want to, why should I bother? Why should I rock the boat? But if you, taking from the first part, if you feel, because these two things go hand in hand, if you then begin to feel, I own, and then I'm in a comfortable zone that I can say what I want. It's my company. I can say what I want in a positive, in the right sense. I'm not saying to be arrogant and all that. And therefore, I should be able to talk about it. Once you create that kind of situation in an organization, mind you, it takes a long time. It doesn't happen overnight. And then collaboration. And then third part is leveraging strength. We normally look at people's weaknesses. But my philosophy is totally different. How can we see people's strengths and everybody's strength? The person who sweeps the floor has certain strengths. The CEO at the top has certain strengths. So look at the strengths and then try to leverage the strength in an appropriate manner in a this thing of spirit of collaboration, in an environment of trust. I can tell you build such a powerful thing, I can only call it thing, that it doesn't know what it can do. You can't estimate the power of this particular thing. They can go on to do impossible things, absolutely impossible. And then people are shocked as to, I didn't know that it could be done. So whether it was in LML West or Tata Motors, creating that, as I said, initially it takes time because people say, oh, this guy is not from industry, what does he know, all that. But over a period of time, through your behavior, if you are able to demonstrate that, people begin to see that, oh, he's an authentic guy, he doesn't have an agenda, he doesn't have this thing, whatever he's doing is for the good of the organization. Then people slowly start coming towards you. And when you have a critical mass, you have 60, 70, 80% of the population believing in you, then I think magic happens. That's all I can say. Magic happens.
But sir, I personally wanted to understand from you, what you just said is, I think, a lot about aligning your thoughts, words and actions in one sense that, follow that path. What you think, if you think that is right, then do what you thought. Most people I'm seeing, they say something, they think something and do something else, absolutely. But in your practical experience, you actually led so many teams in so many companies. When you are actually taking this path, how did you convince yourself of this? Because I'm sure there would have been doubts, right? Because people normally get very result oriented. If they want to get some work done, tell their juniors, just do this, get me like this, I don't want to listen. So there would have been moments like this for you also, right? Where you failed at these aspects. When you fell, how did you come back? Because those things probably something people understand that these things have to be done, but how do they do this and how do they keep on track?
It would be a fallacious view to say that leading from the back means abdicating your responsibility or that you are not result oriented. You are very, very result oriented. That I'll talk in the last part. Being tough softly. As far as the goals achievement is concerned, you are very tough. You're not sparing anything. But as far as people are concerned, you treat them in a softer manner, in a humane manner. Because this is another thing which has happened in the world, is that in a pursuit for efficiency and productivity, we have dehumanized human beings. Which means that, okay, I have a problem because my bottom line is getting affected, because this is happening, I'll sack 10,000 persons, today I'll sack 5,000. Oh my God, that person has given his life and blood, best years of his life to you. 12 years, 15 years, 30 years. And one fine day you say you are not required anymore. Can you imagine? This is not on. This kind of thing cannot carry on. And if we are doing it, I think we are creating great harm to the society, great harm to people in the society. And maybe a few people will benefit from that. But a whole large section of society, you are putting them at a not only disadvantage, you are making them totally unhappy. They don't know why have the what wrong did they do to deserve this kind of thing in life? I mean, you got to put yourself in those people's shoes to understand what is the impact it is having on them. Recently, last week, I was in Kuala Lumpur and I had several interactions there. And one person I met, he was one of the speakers, incidentally. He had given his life for 15 years to very, very well known, I won't name the company in IT. Done fantastic things, and did this, did that. And 5 days prior to that, he said, "You're not required anymore." While talking to him, I could see the bitterness, I could see the frustration, I could see this thing. And that guy, he's maybe in his mid-40s or something. Person in that age group has made commitments, already commitments. He's taken loan for housing, he's taken loan for car, his children are studying, and education today, as you know, is very expensive.
Yes.
Parents are there. They will fall ill. Now, that person doesn't know what to do now. Similarly, I've seen people here in India, some people in newspaper industry. Suddenly, they are without jobs. They are getting X amount of thing and a regular this thing. Suddenly, you find, no, you have to now go and get jobs. Half the salary. What do you do? All these statistics and this thing and that thing we see in paper and we see it, read it and then go by till it hits you. Till it hits somebody who's close to you.
Right.
I mean, you must go and find out, put yourself, see this. Why did they deserve this, to be in that such a position? We need to be more conscious of these kind of things. And we need to therefore moderate, if I may say so, moderate our goals if required, to see that we don't cause this amount of pain. And in this modern age, if we can't learn this, if we can't do this, I think we don't deserve to be on this.
Absolutely. So I think behavior determines a lot of your success, and then ultimately if you really get successful. So I remember this, as a child as well, I like to share with you that, I always used to wonder, this Warren Buffett is a guy who is actually talking about investments. So I always used to wonder, why is he talking so much about personality development? Personal development. He's asking people to do courses. And I always used to wonder, why is this happening? Why can't he just give us a book where we can read about investments? But I later understood that actually what he was trying to say is your success in investments is dependent on your behavior. So that is where he was trying to take you. But then I think many a times we don't really believe people. Like right now, today also we're talking. There'll be few people who will really believe us. And some people would say that, oh, this is all gyan. And people keep talking about this but don't follow themselves. What has been on your 3-piece model, sir, this leading from the back? I actually want to understand from you now that how can somebody follow this path with the 3 pointers which you give?
Well, Utkarsh, I have lived my life. So it's a lived-in experience. It's not a bookish thing which I'm telling you. It's not a gyan I'm giving you. It's not for academic excellence that book has been written. It is a lived-in experience. And therefore, I understand in each distinct component or each distinct of my life or in my body. Whatever I'm saying with full authenticity, full this thing, because I've lived the life and I'm still living the same life. And I'm saying that this is not correct. Yes, earlier there were some constraints when you're working in an organization, but now I don't have a constraints. And therefore, I can talk more openly about these kind of things. I'm associated with the NGOs, some doing very well, and some other kind of organizations. And I find that time has come for us to become more aware of how people actually live. We are living in a cocoon, we are living in our own this thing, we are saying, okay, this is the world is, this is how the world is. And this is the world I want to live in. And we kind of put ourselves in that position. I think we need to break out of that. We need to understand how the world is and how the world lives and what the world suffers. And there must be some compassion for you, because by stroke of luck, you are born this way. Everybody thinks, he has done it. That's a very, I would say, arrogant belief, which has come down and which has been perpetuated, that I have done it. I have done it. I have done it. How can you say that you have done it all? You have not done it. But you begin to feel that as if you are the demigod, you are the person with the golden touch, and therefore whatever your touch will be, I have done it. It's not possible. Because I said, I've held very high positions in very, very large companies, and I know it's not true. Unless you have the cooperation, unless you have the trust of people, unless you have this thing of the society, unless you build trust with the customers, unless you build trust in the colleagues on the organization, unless you build trust with the society, you can't carry on. It cannot be, it can happen, I'm not saying that, but it is not a sustainable way.
What do you think is the problem, sir, with this approach?
Because the problem is that other things perhaps come naturally because you have seen it succeed.
Exactly.
But we have not seen the other thing being succeed. Because if we are able to bring such other examples also, then people will become more and more convinced.
I think people have done it, but it's just that it's not being talked about.
A lot of people around as I told you, I've been around the world trying to promote this philosophy. And I find that overwhelming majority of people are inclined towards it. But they don't, and large number of people are using it, but they don't know what it is, as I didn't know till 4 years ago. And these kind of people are not prone to promoting themselves. They are focused on promoting leaders within the organization. They are promoting trust in the organization. They are promoting trust with the customer. They are promoting this. They are thinking of very different things, and they are not focused on promoting themselves, unlike the arrogant bosses who want to promote themselves only. Everywhere, social media, newspapers, this thing, that thing. So I'm saying it's a different kind of philosophy, and all I'm saying it works, and you need to try it out.
But don't you think it's very difficult to actually implement this? Because everybody wants to be the hero in their lives, right?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear anything against themselves, or maybe take all the credit, give all the blame.
That's a natural inclination. What I also call is you can lead by 3 Fs.
Okay.
Fear, force, and favoritism. And many people do it in 1, 2, or combination thereof.
Okay.
But I'm saying that time is gone. The time for the boss man, the boss leader is gone. And if you, as I talked to you about some things like uncertainty and predictability, therefore a pyramidal structure organization cannot survive in this kind of uncertainty. Number 2 is the explosion of data. Explosion of data is so much that it is impossible for one person to be seized of all that and to take decisions. Therefore, you need to have distributed leadership.
Okay, interesting.
Very, very important. Very, very important. But the third upheaval which is happening will force change to happen. And what is that? That is the generation Gen Z. And to follow Alpha generation. If you ask Gen Z whether they would work under a command and control type of thing, the answer is vehement no. And I've asked this question more than 100 times and got the same reply, whichever audience it has been, whichever audience. So if this generation you want to deal with, if you want to get good quality people in this generation, they will not first join your organization, and if they join, they won't stay for long. That's the reality. So if you want a sustainable success, if you want sustainable longevity of your organization, then I think you have no option but to throw that other kind of arrogant leadership and command and control type of organization out of the window and look at something else. I'm not saying you do this, but you have to look at an alternative this thing. And I'm proposing one which is as good as any other, and therefore I would only urge you to try it out for a couple of years or a few months in a small portion and see what impact it is
Right.
happening.
I think what you're referring to is actually having horizontal relationships rather than vertical relationships, where people either act out of inferiority or superiority complex,
Yeah.
uh, getting flat, getting equal with people. So, what in your experience, since you've dealt with so many people, practically speaking, how do people respond? Because most people feel that if I say sorry to my juniors, then probably I'll be looked down upon. If I say that something which you decide is going to be accepted by me is something which will make me look like a non-decision maker. What is the truth? How I want to understand the human psychology of it. What is the other person? What is that junior of yours thinking about you when you even do such things? Is he
I
really
think if you
looking
are
at you in disregard?
if you are not authentic and if you are not confident about yourself, then you will feel that way.
Ah,
But if you are confident about yourself, if you know that okay, this is the way I'm going to do it, irrespective of the final call will be, maybe I'll check it out of the company, it doesn't matter. But I want to live by these values. See, once you begin to do it, Utkarsh, it brings a very different change in the organization. You got to actually experiment with it to understand. You can only feel it. We can't say it in words. You can feel it. And when you begin to feel it, then you begin to say, oh my God, the power it unleashes. And it's a very quiet power. It's not a demonstrative power. It's not a loud power. It's a very quiet power. A strength that it unleashes is unimaginable. It's unimaginable. I can tell you that. You know, even after leaving the organization, so many organizations, I have good relations that I can pick up the phone in any of my past organizations and talk to the owners, the CEOs, and I'll be treated very nicely.
right.
We are now trying to create a movement of people who are wanting to come and implement this kind of thing or spread the philosophy. People are coming by droves. People are saying, no, मैं भी करूँगा, वो करेंगे. They are doing their other jobs also.
I would really like you to tell the audience today about this movement which you are bringing in, because this is something really inspiring. I have just spoken to you briefly before the show, but I want you to tell the audience today what you are getting into, and it's so inspirational. I want everyone to know this.
So, one thing leads to another. So first came the book.
Right.
Then it evolved into a philosophy. Then it evolved into sharing this philosophy. So at that stage, as I said, I had interactions at 114 places, 113 places. And these are the learnings. Then I said, okay, now if this is there, let's go to the next phase of evolution. So what is that? So can we therefore embrace the philosophy and embed the philosophy in organizations? And then when he started thinking that, then it started coming to me that, look, whatever you have done, you have been able to do it alone. You can interact with people alone. But this thing, you cannot do it. And therefore, you need more people. So I started talking to people. यार मैं करना चाहता हूँ. तुम भी आओगे, साथ में आओगे. So people said, yeah, we'll come with you. We'll come with you. Like this, people started coming. So what we are doing is we are now creating a template. We have created a template that if somebody signs up for this, then we have a 2-day workshop. It's a very methodical thing, 2-day workshop in which we explain a lot about this. And it's a very interactive thing. And then we give a person, again voluntary, we give a person who will be engaged with that organization and will spend a day or two per month with
Lovely.
that. And the organization, of course, has to buy it, imbibe it, and they must have their own coordinator, and that fellow will do. And we'll keep doing this. Then we are creating tools, because that is not good enough. So we are creating tools how to do it, how to make it happen. So we have created 3-4 tools, 2-3 more are in the offering. One is, for each of the characteristics that we have talked about or in the book, there are certain human traits which are more aligned to that characteristic. And therefore, we have I mean, somebody very high up in HR and all that, and she's from IIM Ahmedabad, old time. So we have created a self-assessment tool for individuals to which level they are in. They are at low level, mid level, high level in each of these things. Then we are creating for organization a maturity model. You are level here, level here, level here, level here. Then we are creating an app. So if you heard of something so open-minded, just put it there either through words or through text. So we'll create a whole library, repository of all these examples. So it's no more Ravi Kant example. It's everybody's example. So you can imagine how powerful it will become. We are creating a chatbot that if you want to ask any question on trust, go to chatbot. Ask questions.
Brilliant.
Ask questions. And at some future point, both these chatbot and app will get connected. So chatbot can draw from other people's examples and share other people's example, of course, provided if they agree to that. These kind of things. Then we are going further on. He said, okay, these are all technological tools that we are
available.
Doing, psychological tools we are doing. But if somebody says, I want to develop detachment, how do I do it? Somebody says, I buy into you, but how do I develop detachment? I don't know. So we are also talking to some spiritual people. How to do meditation. How to improve intuitiveness. So we are talking about these kind of things. And I can tell you, once all the pieces fall into place, it will be a very, very unique model of leadership, which people will be, is being already offered. We have already got 5 organizations. One very big NGO, one university in Assam, one very well-known business school in Bombay, 3 companies, including 2 well-known companies in Tata Group. So with these 6 organizations we are going at, and more people are coming. But we said, no, this cannot be the end because this is all physical. Unless we reach scale in India, nothing happens. So how do you reach scales? So we are talking to an organization how to take it online. How to take it online. And we are saying that if we are able to get, say, about 3,000 organizations in 3 to 5 years, what happens is, what we are seeing in the early days yet, what we are seeing is, if you are thinking in a conventional manner, you are talking about going from 100 to 105, 107. But when you think in this manner, your mind opens, and then you begin to see the opportunity. You are not extending past into future, but you are seeing opportunity. And if you like this, oh my God, this is nice, I should do it. And then when you start looking at it, you find that in normal course it won't happen. And therefore you have to go out of box and all other kind of thinking and all you have to do, make extra efforts. But 9.5 times out of 10, you find that you pursue it, you achieve it.
Right.
Now, and that is, then when you start comparing with your earlier thing, then you find, oh my God, this is 50% more than that. This is 100% more than that, 200% more than this, what I was thinking earlier. So can you imagine the mindset? What happens? Instead of thinking 5%, you are thinking 50%. You are not thinking 50%, you are landing at 50%. By that thinking, you are landing at 100%. So imagine if we were to get people in only the corporate world, I'm not going even beyond, but it's applicable to everybody. If even 3,000 companies in India start thinking in this manner, and they begin to feel, what is 5%? I'm doing this, I can get 50%, 100%.
Taking a quantum leap.
Can you imagine what it will do to the country?
Right.
So suddenly we got awakened to the fact that actually you can bring about a huge change in the country itself.
Just by changing the mindset.
Just by changing the mindset. It doesn't require any investment. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require anything. Just by changing the mindset. If you are able to do that, then you can create a huge thing in the companies, in the country, or anywhere else who's using it. And you do it not under stress, because as things are happening, a lot of things are happening, a lot of tension and stresses are coming. You are seeing how unhappy people are, our suicide rates are going up. So you are therefore doing it in a happy manner. That's another kind of, I would say, extra thing that you are getting. You are not getting that kind of growth, but you are getting that with happiness. And you may say it's utopia, but I don't think it's utopia. And I feel that we should try it. That's the premise on which we are working. And we are telling other people, if you believe in this, join the movement. Join the movement. So people are coming in their own voluntary way and saying, no, we like the idea, we want to do it, we want to come. That's how slowly it is. So I invite people amongst your audience, those who want to do it,
Absolutely.
get in touch with us, and we'll see where we can take it to. But you must have belief in this, and of course you should read the book. Book is very. It doesn't cost anything at all.
And it's absolutely
amazing. It's less
amazing.
than a cup of coffee, but it gives you. I think what it has is something quite deep and remarkable.
Absolutely. So, sir, I noticed one thing which I was just noticing and wondering is that you have now started thinking about things like your country.
Yeah.
Which I just noticed when you just spoke about how this entire movement which you are doing is going to impact country and probably bring a compounding impact to the economy. Thanks to this conversation today, can the audience today understand why is this even important? Because a lot of us are all thinking about ourselves. And do you think beyond a certain point, we all have to start thinking about something greater than ourselves to be inspired? Because money stops being an inspiration after some time. People think about a purpose which you want to achieve. So why do you think this is important, sir? Because a lot of people are not able to resonate with this idea. Why do you care so much about the country? Why do you care so much about the world? Why do you care so much about sustainability, environment?
So that's we didn't start with that. As I said, it all started first with the saying, can I put my lived-in experience, the shared, then slowly started evolving. And now we are seeing. But if one individual has gone through this and something wonderful has happened, or many wonderful things have happened, and we are seeing that a lot of other people are doing it, and a lot of other people are also doing wonderful things. And therefore, why don't we then make it into kind of a more structured philosophy and give to people? Because otherwise it's very kind of loose and very kind of people may not believe.
Yeah, this is like a formula.
It's kind of.
Yeah,
it's kind of.
Absolutely.
Guidelines.
Completely
Not
agree.
a formula, but a guidelines for people. And if we are there for other people, because it will be proven only when other people follow and get the same results, is it not?
Correct.
So, and whatever early interactions we are having with persons, we are seeing that it is giving results. Is giving results. I mean, for example, one person who's very high up in digital marketing, she was under great stress because, you have been, the attrition rate is very high and all that. And she didn't know what to do and all that. And she had read the book, but she said, "Acha, theek hai, padh liya." Then suddenly, while she was in this thing, she had the book in front of her. She said, "Why don't I read it again?" She read it again. And she started applying. Then she's telling me, what happened? I said, no, my attrition rate dropped. So I said, dropped from 40% to how much? So she had 0.
Wow.
Now, this is a small thing, but it gives you a glimpse into what it can do. Why did it drop? And they're, digital media and all, only young people, Gen Z are mostly there. These kind of, they come to your thing, they don't find happy, they'll go to some other job. What held them back? What's holding them back? Holding them back is because they are being treated as as somebody who's important. They are being treated as somebody who can contribute. They are being treated as, they are being given freedom. They are given a nice feeling about that. If you work here, then you'll be treated as like your home. So once you build that kind of relationship, that people want to stay back rather than get out. So you change the whole equation by 180 degrees.
Okay.
So instead of people being repelled and to go out in a short period of time, now people want to stay longer. People may still leave. What 0% may not be sustainable. But what I'm trying to say is suddenly it has dropped because you have changed the environment. That's all. That's all you have done. You have not put an investment, you have not put money, you have not kind of bought something. It's just changed people's behavior, your own behavior. And through own behavior, this is what has happened. So I'm saying, the human beings, this thing is a very powerful thing. We don't understand the extent of that power. If you are able to use it in a gainful manner, in a positive manner, you can do wonders.
Wow. So you've actually thought that since this is working in organizations and it is making such a big impact, and if you try and implement it with so many companies, it can bring a substantial impact on the economy, the country, probably the world.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
So you are going, but you may be going against the current. But all new things are done only when you go against the current. So I'm saying we are going against the current, and I'm inviting people that come and join. Everybody is welcome, and either implement it or do anything, or if you want any advice or this thing, we'll be happy to.
No, absolutely. I think there's so many people who will be wanting to join this movement. I think leading from the back is something which is a very different idea, but I think I can really relate how it will, stay with the young generation, because this is just more efficient, just more relatable in today's equation. So thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on this show, and it is absolutely going to be game changing for people who are going to read this book. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Utkarsh, for inviting.
Thank you.
Bye.